This is Love Your Work. On this show, we help you find your unique signature as a creative entrepreneur. I'm David Cadavy. I've been a solopreneur for more than 10 years. I'm an international award-winning designer. I've written a couple of best-selling books, Design for Hackers and Now the Hard to Start. From my closet in Colombia, I have interviewed titans of industry like Steve Case. I've interviewed best-selling authors like Seth Godin and James Altucher. I've interviewed experts on behavioral science, creators from dancers to a chef to a Hollywood set designer. I want to find out how each of them discovered what made them one in a million. And I bring those insights to you so you can find out what makes you one in a million too. If you are new here, welcome. Again, I'm David Cadavy. If you want to join us here on Love Your Work every Thursday, please just hit subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And to get my free creative productivity toolkit, sign up at cadavy.net/tools. After publishing my first book, it took me 6 years to publish my second book. After publishing my second book, it took me only 6 months to publish my fourth book. So I have published 3 books in the past 6 months, and I have learned a ton along the way. I'm going to share it with you today. This is a sponsor-free episode today, meaning the only financial support for this episode comes from our Patreon backers. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if all episodes could be sponsor-free? With the support of enough listeners, it could one day be possible. At this point, the production and publishing costs of Love Your Work are very, very, very close to being fully listener supported. With your help, we can get there. Please donate at cadavy.net/donate. Just think about when you go to the coffee shop for a coffee meeting. Do you ever think about the $5 that you spend on the coffee? Maybe you buy a coffee for the person you're meeting with too. Are the 4 episodes of Love Your Work that you get each month worth the equivalent of a coffee meeting? If you think so, please donate the cost of a coffee or 2 or 4 at cadavy.net/donate. Thank you so much. Here is the article. "24 things I learned publishing 3 books in only 6 months." So after I published my first book, it took 6 years before I published my second book. And only 6 months after publishing my second book, I recently published my fourth book. So that means I have published 3 books in the past 6 months. Now, what triggered such a change? It started when Seth Godin told me this on the podcast on episode 77. If you're publishing yourself, you have the most committed publisher in the world. You're still going to be head of marketing for your book. So how do you learn that? Well, you learn it by doing. And the easiest way to do it is to come out with a book a week on the Kindle. It costs nothing to do this. It costs less than it cost me to mail my proposals to book publishers. So what are you waiting for? And Seth was right. I have learned so much more by self-publishing 3 books in 6 months than I learned by traditionally publishing 1 book and then waiting 6 years to publish the next one. And here's what I've learned publishing 3 books in 6 months. Now there's 24 of these things, so I'm going to name them first and then I'll go back over them. 1, ego will hold you back from publishing. 2, your book doesn't have to kill you. 3, a book is not a book. 4, a book does not have to be a certain length. 5, a book can be short and to the point. 6, each book is a learning experience. 7, Kindle will get you the lion's share. 8, you don't have to launch all formats at once. 9, a Kindle book is just an HTML document. 10, the Kindle is a paid web browser. 11, you can publish a book as easily as you can publish a blog post. 12, you can publish under any name you want. 13, you can publish your first book today. 14, you can publish a paperback edition of your book for free. 15, you can only be in Kindle Unlimited if your ebook is exclusive to Amazon. 16, Amazon forces your hand on pricing. 17, Amazon is getting too powerful. Build an email list. 18, categories or genres matter. 19, know your book's sales potential before you write it. 20, books sell by keywords or by word of mouth. 21, you can use up to 200 characters in your title and subtitle. 22, you can have 7 key phrases associated with your book. 23, you can have up to 10 categories or browse paths associated with your book. 24, it's easy to have a bestseller. Okay, now going back through all those, we'll start with number 1, of course. 1, ego will hold you back from publishing. Now, it's tempting to think of your book as being a big deal. We're used to hearing about books taking years to publish. We assume all that time is spent writing, but much of it is just because traditional publishing moves really slowly. Instead, ego gets in the way. So as I said in The Heart to Start, your ego fears your art. I put too much pressure on myself to follow up one success with a bigger success, and it cost me years of my publishing career. 2, your book doesn't have to kill you. Some people say that if you're going to write a book, it had better be the most amazing book you can possibly write. They'll say you'll be committing career suicide if you don't put every fiber of your being into every book. Now, people who say this are usually in bed somehow with the dying, traditionally published industry. It is in their best interests to treat book publishing as some kind of sacred act. If fewer people write their first books, publishing can keep its mystique. Writing my first book was a miserable process. Writing my second book was fun. If you ask me, I'd say that my second book turned out better than my first book. 3, a book is not a book. There are old ideas about what a book is. Now, much of these ideas are just smoke and mirrors from the 500-year-old publishing industry, or they're just ideas that have gotten stale because few have questioned what a book is in today's world. A book is not a book. Books are being reinvented. 4, a book does not have to be a certain length. There's a reason why so many books today are really just a blog post with 200 pages of filler. So for example, a thick spine serves as a bold advertisement on a bookstore shelf. Credit to Joanna Penn for telling me this on this podcast. Yet, not many books are being sold on bookstore shelves these days. So no matter what length your book is, it's going to get the same real estate on Amazon as War and Peace does, which means a page on Amazon. A book does not have to be a certain length. 5, a book can be short and to the point. There used to be a thriving pamphlet market. Pamphlets fueled the English, French, and American revolutions. They not only helped ideas spread, but they also made money for their authors. Blogs were supposed to be the new pamphlet. Now, in some ways, blogs are the new pamphlet, but the economics of running a blog really suck. How to Write a Book that I wrote, is available as a free blog post. Now, how much have I made from it? Nothing from the blog post, less than nothing. It cost me money to publish it. Yet as a book, it's made me about $700, more than $700, and it's only been out for a few months. You can publish a book that is short and to the point, and you can get paid for it. 6, each book is a learning experience. Before you publish a book, there is so much that you don't know, and even more that you don't know. It is better to publish a bunch of books, learning a little more each time, than to just die with your first book still inside you, just because you were trying to make it perfect. 7, Kindle will get you the lion's share. Kindle sales alone account for 82% of the English language ebook market. It's much more complex to publish formats aside from Kindle and to publish on other distributors. So, make the 20% effort that is going to get you 80% of the results. You don't need to worry about making your first book available everywhere. Just start with Kindle. 8, you don't have to launch all formats at once. Traditional publishing has the resources to launch every format at once. Ebook, paperback, and audiobook. That is a lot of extra work, especially for your first book. Instead, you can do one at a time. I personally launched with only the Kindle version of my first self-published book. Then a couple weeks later, I published the paperback. A few weeks after that, I published the audiobook. I played the long game. I got reviews, and I built up organic Amazon sales. It's only with this latest book, the one about Steam It, that I launched with all 3 formats at once after I had learned all the basics. 9, a Kindle book is just an HTML document. Technically, a Kindle book is no different from a blog post. It's some HTML with some CSS for formatting. You don't have to know HTML to publish a Kindle book, but if you do, you have a big advantage. 10, the Kindle is a paid web browser. Now, many people don't read on the internet. It's full of clickbait, popovers, and annoying ads. Instead, they read books that they buy on their Kindles, and I'm one of those people. Or they just subscribe to Kindle Unlimited so they can read many, many books for free. Amazon is their search engine. Now, if you don't believe me, check out the book, How to Add a Device to My Amazon Account. People are paying $2.99 for that book because that's what they find when they search for a help doc on Amazon. Now, okay, it is a little sneaky, but it does show you a very important idea. The Kindle is a paid web browser. Readers get a great reading experience, and writers get paid for their work. 11. You can publish a book as easily as you can publish a blog post. Once you figure out how to make an HTML document, you've got yourself a book. You can use a free program like Sigil or something more sophisticated like Vellum. It only takes a few minutes to publish, and it will be for sale on Amazon within hours. 12. You can publish under any name you want. When you publish your book, you can put any name that you want in the author field. So Seth Godin told me, do it under another name if you want. If your ego is getting in the way, just try a pen name. 13. You can publish your first book today. If you are procrastinating on publishing a book, here's what I recommend. Write 500 words on literally anything. Then go to Amazon's Kindle Direct Publishing and publish those 500 words under a made-up name. You're going to learn a lot just going through the process, and you can just go ahead and delete that book from Amazon when you're done. 14. You can publish a paperback edition of your book for free. It costs nothing to publish a paperback edition of your book. You can do it on KDP, CreateSpace, or even sell direct to bookstores around the world with Ingram Spark. Your book only gets printed when somebody buys it. You have no inventory lying around. You have no upfront expense, just instant profit. 15. You can only be in Kindle Unlimited if your ebook is exclusive to Amazon. Kindle Unlimited is a program that is a little bit like a Netflix of books. As the author, you get paid by the number of pages read of your books. It's not a really great royalty rate, but in some genres such as romance or science fiction or erotica, there are a ton of readers in KU and some read a ton of books. The catch is that to be enrolled in the KU program, your ebook can only be on Amazon. It has to be exclusive to Amazon. 16. Amazon forces your hand on pricing. You can't simply list your book on Amazon for free, though there is a rather complicated way to do what's called a perma-free book. And Kindle Unlimited allows you to offer your book for free for limited periods. But aside from those cases, the minimum price of a book is 99 cents. You keep 35% of the sale up to $2.98. You keep 70% of the sale if your book is priced from $2.99 to $9.99. Now, since the royalty rate drops back to 35% if the price is above $9.99, it really makes no sense to price your book higher than that, aside from some rare exceptions. Now, this is why you'll see a lot of books priced at 99 cents. You're going to see a lot of books priced at $2.99. They're the cheapest price point possible for the customer, so they're the best price point for the given royalty rate. 17. Amazon is getting too powerful. Build an email list. It is amazing that you can publish to millions of active readers on Kindle, but as Amazon gains market share, they are tightening their grip on authors. You're seeing it with their pricing terms, and you're seeing it with their exclusivity requirement for being in KU. Authors need to do whatever they can to retain some power in the market. So all authors should build an email list so they can sell direct to their biggest fans. I have written many email marketing platform reviews that you can find on cadavy.net. I think that ConvertKit is the best email service for authors. You can sign up for ConvertKit at my affiliate link at cadavy.net/ConvertKit. Though I personally use ActiveCampaign, which you can sign up for at cadavy.net/ActiveCampaign. Now, if you're curious about why I use ActiveCampaign instead of ConvertKit, I have written a detailed ConvertKit versus ActiveCampaign comparison, which you can find at cadavy.net. 18. Categories or genres matter. It is tempting to try to write a book that can't be categorized, but you'd be setting yourself up for failure if you do that. Each genre of book already has a market of customers who are buying and reading books from that genre. So before you write your book, spend some time browsing the various categories on Amazon and see which categories are relevant to your book. 19. Know your book's sales potential before you write it. As you browse through categories, you can get a feel for the revenue potential within that category. Go to the top book in that category and see how it ranks overall on Amazon. Then you can use a sales rank calculator to estimate how many copies that book is selling based upon its ranking. Now do the same with the 100th ranked book in that category, and now you have a really good idea of the sales volume in that category. KDP Rocket can estimate monthly revenue. It is a paid program. I'm an affiliate of it. It is available at cadavy.net/KDP Rocket. 20. Books sell by keywords or by word of mouth. There are two main strategies for nonfiction books. You can try to invent an idea that spreads throughout the collective consciousness, such as in Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, or The War of Art, or you can solve a specific problem, such as Design for Hackers or How to Incorporate. The former strategy has the widest market potential, the former strategy being inventing an idea that spreads throughout the collective consciousness. But it's really harder to do that. It is much easier to sell a smaller amount of books with the latter strategy, which is to focus on a keyword. But it is harder to sell a ton of books that way. So you can choose your strategy or you can mix up those strategies. 21. You can use up to 200 characters in your title and subtitle. Amazon is the search engine and buyers are looking for books on particular topics. Now, each word in your title or subtitle is an opportunity to help a reader find your book based upon the keywords in the title and subtitle. So if you're trying to solve a specific problem, go ahead and use as many of those 200 characters as you can. This is what I did with How to Write a Book, an 11-step process to build habits, stop procrastinating, fuel self-motivation, quiet your inner critic, bust through writer's block, and let your creative juices flow. Or, as the inspirational Chuck Tingle did with the book titled Donald Trump Pounded in the Butt by the Handsome Russian T-Rex who also peed on his butt and then blackmailed him with the videos of his butt getting peed on. 21. You can have 7 key phrases associated with your book. Aside from your book's title and subtitle, your back-end key phrases also affect the Amazon SEO of your book. You can associate up to 7 key phrases for your book. You want key phrases that are relevant to your book, that have enough volume to sell some copies, but that don't have so much volume that it's just hard to compete and rank. So you can run AMS ads, Amazon Marketing Service ads, or you can also play around with just typing in the auto-suggest and seeing what words pop up. Or you can use KDP Rocket, which I mentioned earlier. They're an affiliate available at academy.net/KDP Rocket. And you can use all those different tools to optimize your keywords. 23. You can have up to 10 categories or browse paths associated with your book. When you publish your book on KDP, they only let you choose 2 browse paths, aka categories. Now, what they don't tell you is that you can actually choose up to 10. Here's how. Choose 10 relevant categories, then contact KDP support and let them know what those browse paths are, and they will set it up. And this helps more readers find your book. Categories are different for Kindle than they are for print books, so if you do have a paperback, you need to do this separately for that edition. 24. It is easy to have a bestseller. Now, because you can choose up to 10 categories for your book, and because some categories are not that competitive, it is pretty easy to have a so-called bestseller. One guy actually did it with just a picture of his foot to prove a point. Now, this puts a bestseller tag next to your book on Amazon, and that attracts more sales. And also, it makes you a best-selling author. Now, the publishing establishment will complain, and they'll tell you that you aren't a real bestseller, but they are just plain wrong. Now, there is no doubt that I still have a lot to learn about publishing and marketing books, but I've learned infinitely more in the past 6 months than I learned in the 6 years before that. So if you get out of your own way and you rethink books with the current market and technology, you can start publishing today. You can learn more every day. Is Love Your Work helping you find the intersection on your love and money Venn diagram? Does it bring you the inspiration and motivation to make you into the person that you want to be? If so, we, together, you and I, can make this the show that we want it to be. I'm trying to make a nourishing and thoughtful show, and I could use your help with that. Please donate to the show. Just a coffee a month will help support the hosting and production of this show. Just a coffee a month will help spread Love Your Work's message, helping more people live a balanced life with a healthy definition of success. To donate, visit our Patreon page at academy.net/donate. Patreon is a platform that lets you support creators like me. Vote with your dollars and keep Love Your Work going at academy.net/donate. As a thank you, you'll get early access, bonus content, and a discount on Love Your Work merchandise. Learn more at academy.net/donate. That's academy.net/donate. Love Your Work is brought to you in part by our Patreon supporters, such as mini sponsor Roxana Maynard of Agility Alchemist at agilityalchemist.com, and top supporters such as Arif Akhtar and Jeffrey Mason. This has been Love Your Work, and I'm David Cadavy. The theme music for this show is At Sea by Dorena from the album About Everything and More by arrangement with Deep Elm Records at deepelm.com. Love Your Work is a production of Cadavy, Inc.